Bam and Naoya Inoue have a date with destiny. Both men have already proven their place amongst this generation's best boxers. The more they keep winning, the more it feels like they're missing the same thing though, which is each other. You probably salivate over this fight just the way that I do. Bam Rodriguez and Naoya Inoue is a fight that puts two generational talents on opposite ends of the ring. A modern day Marvin Hagler versus Sugar Ray Leonard. It's the type of fight that you and I watch boxing for. Simply put, it's the best fighting the best. Antonio Vargas was never the destination, only the stepping stone to Naoya Inoue. In many ways, Bam Rodriguez showed that we needed him to show power carrying through the higher weight classes. But Saturday night's fights also gave us something even more valuable: intrigue. Because if Antonio Vargas was able to find moments of success against Bam Rodriguez, what would happen if the man standing across the ring from him was Naoya Inoue? Ironically, Antonio Vargas' success only reinforced what makes Bam Rodriguez so dangerous. For a few rounds, Vargas looked like he might give Bam the type of fight we rarely see. He had moments, he had found his success, he made Bam work. And that's the thing about Jesse Rodriguez. At any moment, he can end the fight. Despite Antonio Vargas bringing the fight to him, Bam found a way to close the show in spectacular fashion. And that's what makes the three-division champion so great. Adversity doesn't stop him. It simply gives him another problem to solve. And trust me, we'll get to Bam Rodriguez versus Naoya Inoue in a second here. But first, we need to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is Antonio Vargas. So, if you watch this fight, and when I was watching it live, I was actually kind of concerned here. We didn't see a fighter in Antonio Vargas that's constantly loading up on big shots where Bam Rodriguez can, pivot off and find a really good angle a la Lomachenko, a la all the great fighters before him, right? No, that's not what we saw. We saw an Antonio Vargas that was like, oh, pop, 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 just content to land on land on Jesse Rodriguez. You see who I'm thinking about here, right? But just content to land on Jesse Rodriguez. And that really stood out to me as a kind of a warning sign. It told me that, hey, this guy is not invincible, and there are some things that he kind of struggles with here. And that was an opponent that didn't make many mistakes. Now, Inoue is a big hitter, and we'll talk about that in a second here, but this showed us a path that which not just Naoya Inoue, but his brother Takuma Inoue, who's also a bantamweight champion, and anybody else that fights Bam in the future can take. Hey, don't load up on this guy. Don't knock him out. You're going to have to fight him hard. It's going to be a tough fight, but you're going to have to just be content to land what you can. And that's what Antonio Vargas did. He came in and said, hey, I'm not looking to take his head off with every single punch. I'm actually not here to take his head off with most punches. Instead, what I want to do is just touch him up. He brought a touch him up style, just pop, 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 pop. The announcers at one point called it an amateur boxing type performance. And yeah, that's kind of what it was, but boy, it surely did the trick. It really did. Like the touching kept Vargas from getting out of position. And against a fighter like Bam Rodriguez, getting out of position is like the nail in the coffin. That's not something you want to do. But, we saw with the knockout, like often it's not good enough. Oftentimes, like you're just simply not the better boxer. And that's Antonio Vargas. Like, I'm not saying he couldn't have beat Bam Rodriguez, but what I am saying is he brought a good game plan, but Bam is just a better boxer. He was a generational talent, and he's one of the fighters that kind of, separates himself as one of the best of all time against an Antonio Vargas, who, like, no offense, he's very good, but he's not a Naoya Inoue. He's not a Jesse Rodriguez, not Terrence Crawford, Usyk, whoever. Put your elite names out there. Your pound for pound guy, Shakur. He's not that. And when Bam took over in that second round, specifically when he was really landing on Antonio Vargas, you could clearly see the difference in skill where Jesse's like, hey, I'm going to go and you're going to have to deal with it now instead of me waiting on you. And that's where he had his most success. Being the southpaw, he's got some unique, not advantages, but approaches to a fight. It was really more or less just Vargas kind of doing his thing. But the difference in skill was when Bam found his fight, or when he found his shot, he took it. he took it. You know, he's constantly pivoting off uppercuts across the body and stuff, hitting the body to go into the top, kind of just changing up levels. Hey, I'm trying to overload you with information type stuff, and it works. It works for him, and it worked against Antonio Vargas. The first knockdown was actually just beautiful. Just lined up a left. You know, he kind of crow hops out to the outside foot advantage, and being the southpaw, his left is his power puncher. Boom, comes over the top and puts him down. Now, for Bam, what's next? Obviously, I want Naoya Inoue next week. I want them to, like, Bam's not hurt, book it in a month, and let's watch the fight. But that's not gonna happen. Let's be honest, it's not. They're talking about February, which means both fighters will probably have something in between now and then for me to stress about. Like, man, what if Bam loses? You know, because like, what if they make the Takuma Inoue fight, which is Naoya Inoue's brother? I like that fight a lot. That's actually a really fun fight. And I was looking earlier, I'm pulling back up at the rankings at bantamweight. Takuma Inoue is the most interesting one. You remember Takuma is the one who beat Tenshin Nasukawa not long ago. Gave Tenshin his first fight loss in any combat sport. Nasukawa's obviously rebounded against Estrada. I would like the Nasukawa-Bam fight. That'd be interesting. Bam would pick him apart, though. Looking at it, though, there's not really anything exciting. Tatsumi, like, okay, you know, Seiya is good, but it doesn't build anything. Like, if he wants to go back and maybe move up a weight to super bantam and start fighting, you know, there's still not much there. The obvious fight is Takuma Inoue. The only problem with that is, you know, he could fight Junto. Oh, Bam versus Junto Nakatani. Oh, hey, Inoue, you look great, but watch me knock out your boy. That's a really tough fight for Bam, too, with the length and stuff. Especially if Nakatani starts using it. They're both southpaws. Oh, I'm just, like, that's just not in my show notes. I'm just thinking off the dome on this. Like, that is, ooh, give me that. Bam versus Junto Nakatani next. Then we get Inoue in February, and we're all happy. Do it in September on my birthday weekend. How about that, huh? Let's do it for my birthday. The Takuma storyline is what really pushes that fight forward. But I think Takuma Inoue might not want to be the stepping stone for his brother. He might not want to be the guy that's like, hey, I'm going to let Bam Rodriguez beat me to take on, you know, my brother next. I don't want to be that stepping stone. And I get that too, if that's the case. You know, I wouldn't want to do it either. You know, Takuma is 22-2, lost to Seiya, which, you know, Seiya's great, and then lost to Nordine Olubai way back when, unanimous decision. Takuma's got good hands, not a lot of power, so he would be a good test for Bam. But I don't know if they'll book that because, you know, Takuma's like, I'm a champion too. He deserves his own respect, and I get that. But the Vargas, you know, looking at the matchup that I promised you guys, Bam versus Inoue, just kind of brief, like, looking at it, it's intriguing. It's a very interesting fight because, you know, you've got the smaller, more technical fighter versus the destroyer. You know, we talked about when Inoue and Benavidez fought a couple weeks ago, how we're in the monster era of Benavidez beating up Zurdo, and then Inoue destroying Junto Nakatani. Like, the guy's incredible. So to see this type of a matchup, a master technician boxer versus a destroyer, but we got to give props because Inoue can box as well. Vargas's game plan showed us that Inoue is not Inoue, I'm sorry, Bam is not indomitable. He's not invincible. He doesn't just go out there and walk through everybody. And being up at weight could be a problem for him. But if we're looking at this, like, objectively, like, the Vargas game plan is, if Inoue is close and he is next to Bam and he's landing on Bam in the pocket, Bam might have a hard time because some of the shots that Antonio Vargas was landing on Bam, if Inoue lands that, you're done. You are finished. I don't want to say it was a bad performance from Bam, but, like, in the pocket, he's a lot more vulnerable. And Inoue is a lot more efficient power-wise. And that's something to watch out for. And now, don't let me lie to you. Like, yeah, Naoya Inoue is more durable than Antonio Vargas is, but he also doesn't have an iron chin. Inoue's not invincible himself. So you've got two things there to kind of worry about and to kind of work with here. Like, yeah, will Jesse finally, the volume play up for him, or will he like crumble under the pressure that is Naoya Inoue? My early prediction is just an Inoue decision. I don't think Rodriguez is, you look at the great fights, they don't always go quick. Most of them go to decision, and I think that's what happens. I think Inoue just takes it. Then again, though, like the cardio, if Bam kind of nails him to the body enough, like Inoue does fade later in fights. That's where Nakatani kind of took over in their fight. So yeah, I love it, and Bam versus Inoue is the best fight to make in boxing right now. Never mind Shakur versus whoever, Haney, whatever, or Tank, whatever. No, it's not that. There's no better fight in boxing to make right now than Naoya Inoue and Jesse Rodriguez. Book it.